Miss Mattie Merrywinkle, Chapter 6, The Colour of Happiness. Mattie Merrywinkle tipped the black bin bag upside down and shook it vigorously. All manner of clothing cascaded down onto her bed. She gave a small squeal of delight. The first thing to catch her eye was a pair of red plimsolls with rainbow laces. Mattie called them pumps. She really liked the look of them, especially as her trainers were definitely on their last legs. A quick glance at the underside of the shoes showed that they were half a size bigger than she was used to, but she wasn't going to let a minor detail like that get in the way. "Oh, it's nothing that a wad of cotton wool can't fix, eh, Gerald?" Gerald, oblivious to the situation, was occupied by the meticulous grooming of his genitals. She put the footwear to one side. Next, she sorted through the leggings, half a dozen pairs, every one of which looked like the result of an explosion in a paint factory. Having selected the 2 pairs with the most red in them, to match her new pumps, Mattie added them to the footwear on the end of the bed. The other wardrobe item of choice for our Susan appeared to be hoodies. There were lots of these, mostly black, with slogans printed either on the front, the back, or both, all in the vein of "men are useless idiots," although none of them said that in so many words. Mattie would never have dreamed of cycling around with that kind of message emblazoned across her chest. She may have been a spinster, but she definitely wasn't a man-hater, her single status being more of a consequence of unfortunate circumstance than choice. None of that mattered, though, as one of the hooded tops was sloganless and a beautiful buttercup yellow, the colour of happiness in Mattie's eyes. She held it against her cheek and breathed in the heady perfume of our Susan's fabric conditioner, noticing as she did so the capacious front pocket, like a kangaroo's pouch. Mattie liked clothes with big pockets. You never knew what you might spot that was worth collecting. The top was added to the collection on the end of her bed. The remaining items were mostly mini skirts, tight dresses, or cardigans with sparkly bits, none of which Mattie would be seen dead in, but there were a couple of plain t-shirts that might be useful on warmer days. Mattie started to pack the discarded items back into the bag and had almost finished when she noticed something that had fallen on the floor. She bent down to retrieve it and gave another little squeal of delight. It was a bucket-shaped canvas hat, covered in badges from all the rock festivals that our Susan must have attended in her youth. Oh, a veritable treasure trove in Mattie's eyes. She tried it on. "What do you reckon to that, Gerald?" She turned this way and that. "I don't look too much like mutton dressed as lamb, do I?" The question fell on deaf ears. Having completed his ablutions, Gerald had proceeded to make a cosy bed in the pile of selected clothing, covering it in long ginger hairs in the process. If truth be told, the whole house was similarly festooned, as Mattie was long overdue for a check-up at the optician's. Housework had never been her thing anyway, subscribing as she did to the philosophy that life was too short to worry about a few cat hairs here and there. Mattie beamed at her reflection. "Oh, who cares if I do, eh?" Monday morning arrived in a blaze of sunshine, so Mattie dressed in her new outfit. Just looking at the colours raised her spirits, especially the buttercup yellow. She hummed, "They call me Mellow Yellow," as she wheeled her bicycle down the front path. Her journey to work took her past the school where she'd worked as a morning lollipop lady before the virus brought everything to a halt. Today, for the first time since then, a small group of children were arriving for school. She paused to take in the scene. A lump came out of nowhere and lodged in the back of her throat. The railings were covered in balloons, bright yellow balloons, the same colour as her top, the colour of happiness. A large handmade sign proclaimed, "Welcome back, we missed you." "I've missed 'em too," thought Mattie, the little blighters. A car pulled up on the opposite side of the road, and 2 children emerged with their mummy, who was wearing a health visitor's tunic. She took their hands and led them across the road. "Oh, hello, Mattie. I saw your picture in the paper. Lovely to know you're still keeping busy." Mattie didn't know what to say, so she just beamed. "We're going to school!" exclaimed the older girl, Ruby, in a voice the town crier would have been proud of. "I love your rainbow shoes, Miss Merrywinkle," whispered the younger girl, Pearl, causing the lump in Mattie's throat to grow. Once they were safely through the gate, she pushed her bicycle a little further down the road so she could see into the playground. The head teacher, Mrs. Rothwell, was standing halfway down the path from the gate to the school entrance, and as each child approached, she scanned his or her forehead with an electronic device, presumably to check temperatures. She was wearing a pretty pink gingham dress with a not-so-pretty large blue plastic apron over the top. Her face was covered by a plastic visor, giving more an impression of a member of the riot squad than the delightful, friendly woman Mattie knew her to be. Ruby bounced up the path to be scanned and then bounced away to meet her friends. Pearl hid behind her mummy's skirt and needed patient coaxing to draw her out. Mattie cast her eyes further afield to the other children, waiting patiently in parallel lines, all with their arms outstretched so as to maintain a safe distance. If you'd asked her yesterday, Mattie would have said that the sight of children returning to school would have filled her with joy. But at that particular moment in time, she felt nothing but sadness. "Poor little blighters," she thought to herself, as she remembered how this time of day used to look. Children racing round, playing tag, a group huddled over their card swaps, secrets being whispered, a friend's hair being plaited and unplaited, a game of football. On the surface, they looked happy enough, waving to their friends before nervously returning their arms to distancing position. Mattie couldn't help wondering what was really going on in all those young minds, though. She turned away and continued on her journey to work, but neither the bouncing balloons nor her lovely buttercup yellow top could dispel the heaviness she felt in her heart. Poor little blighters,